Hello and welcome to another edition of Youngstown Click. Guys, this is going to be such an interesting interview because my guest, I have never even actually met. And I am so excited. This was a member of the clique actually texted me and said, you got to talk to this woman. She is so interesting and she is, I'll just go ahead and introduce you, Maria. This is Maria Lala Wagner. She is the owner at the Center for Sound Therapy, and that is in Boardman on Market Street, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so I have never heard of this, and it's so interesting to me because I think there's so much more, like sometimes the most powerful things, I actually did a speech on this, sometimes the most powerful things in the universe are the unseen things. So right. We cannot see sound, we can see the effects of sound, the wind, so on and so forth. And so this just is very interesting to me. So welcome, Maria. And if you could just tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do, and then we'll just go ahead and get started.
Yeah, so I founded the Center for Sound Therapy in 2017. So we're almost at our 3-year mark, and sound actually found me in 2013. My husband and I were on a journey of healing, and so that's really, like you said, that unseen force. We feel like the unseen force that was working with us at the time led us to sound therapy, and we had actually a profound healing ourselves that really stuck with us as we continued upon that journey. So since then, I specialize in sound therapy. I specialize in energy healing, crystal work, yoga, meditation. So the center is really a place for wellness. So we just focus on that unseen force, the idea that the body is made up of energy. And when our energy gets out of whack, basically because of stress, because perfect example of what's going on right now, it creates all kinds of emotions. It creates a wave of turbulence through our mind and through our body. And our modalities are based on the fact that we are energy. The part of us that you cannot see can be impacted by the same, I guess you could say, same idea that energy can treat energy. So energy healing, sound therapy, crystal work, it's all a vibrational therapy, which could be considered holistic, alternative, energy medicine. So that's really what I specialize in.
Okay. All right. So before we go on to particularly sound, and by the way, everybody, sorry for my wet hair. It has been some sort of crazy morning here around here, but I'm so excited to be here with you. Okay, so tell us a little bit more about the journey with you and your husband. Now, like, you had been together, like, how long had you met? And then what was it? Was it like his journey that started you in down this road, or your journey? Like, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so my husband's name is Calvin. Calvin and I have been together for a really long time. We actually met in 1998. So we basically we're very fortunate to go on this healing journey together, because a lot of couples, one goes one way and the other one goes the other way. And I do think it was his decision to get a juicer. So this is really where our story starts.
So it started with juicing?
It started with juicing. So at the time, the Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead documentary came out, and at a time in our life, we were feeling low. We were feeling like, man, things. Is life going to be this way? So he watched that documentary and was inspired to make that change, make that step, to try that. So I come home one day and he's like, honey, we're going to go buy a juicer. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, if you're going to do the juicing, I guess I'll partake in it, if this is what you want to do. So we started juicing in 2012, and within 6 months time, I I want to tell you that my husband lost 60 pounds. And I lost about 30, but we didn't do it at that time like for complete weight loss. We just wanted to change our diet. We wanted to eat healthier. We wanted to just feel better. So the benefits of that was, yes, the weight loss, but the other thing was that it actually cleared our mind. It refreshed our cells, it refreshed our energy. And within that 6 months, we were two different people. We were thinking differently, we were acting differently, we were making different decisions for ourselves in our life. And that is what we feel raised our energy, raised our vibration, raised our frequency. And when I say 6 months, in that 6-month period, we were meeting people. Like you said, Teresa Lisum.
Yeah.
And Teresa was really one of the first people that I met myself that had information that she shared. And she's like, hey, do you know about this place? Do you know about this place? And everything that she recommended was the next place I needed to go for healing. I met more people who helped me and my husband on our healing journey. And through that, one of those people that was associated with the group had come in to do a workshop with sound healing. And that was the first time that Calvin and I felt the sound, felt the frequencies, and felt the vibrations. And we were like, this is something. Because after that session, we went home and we could just feel a clearing. We could feel energy moving through our body. We felt it open. You can say the brain hemispheres, different channels, whatever you want to say. But after that, it was like a process of purging, a process of releasing. And what we didn't know at the time is that was like all the stuck pain, the trauma, the experiences that we have gone through. And everybody's like that because our body becomes a sponge. We accumulate our experiences, we accumulate the emotions, we accumulate the trauma. And that needs cleared out because it's taking up vital space within the body. And ultimately, if it's not stirred up and released, that then gets stagnant. And that's where we feel dis-ease and disharmony result. And that's really what we are trying to do with the sound therapy, because we had such a profound experience that really opened up us and our life. We're just trying to help people clear out what they've been through, move through it in a positive way, so that way they could make room for something brighter, lighter, just something more joyful to come into their life to fill those places back up.
So interesting. So interesting. That leads me to think about, there was a guy that he was talking about some of his past, and when he'd go out on these missions that they had to kill people. And he said that they would always put on that song, let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor. And he said he would literally feel this energy come into him, and it was like he couldn't see, like he knew his mission and that was his mission. And he was talking a little bit about that. And so I guess the opposite would be true too. Like we don't even think, I guess people talk about, watch the music you listen to and watch what you put into you. But I think a lot of people think it's just the words, but it's also the sounds is what you're saying. And it's almost, to me, sounds like an emotional massage. Is that what, like?
Yes. Yeah, so we use it in a way that, so one of the main instruments that we use are crystal singing bowls. And our singing bowls are so large and so massive, you can actually feel them penetrating the body. So not only do they massage the emotions, they massage the tissues, the muscles, the parts of us that are holding the stress, the tension. So if you come in all tense and tight, you're going to feel like you've softened, like you've just sunk into yourself in a way, because
No,
Um,
so you said a singing bowl?
yeah,
S-I-N-G, the singing. Okay.
Yeah, so there are metal bowls and there are crystal singing bowls. So these ones that I'm talking about are made of quartz crystal. So
Okay.
they send out like a woo, 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 woo
Okay.
sound. And when you are in the room, you are feeling that like all over your body. And we talked about that invisible force.
Mhm.
When it penetrates through the physical body, it's actually penetrating all the way to the cellular level. And it's proven by science that our cells are actually vibrating energy. So the vibrating energy within our body can be at different levels. So if you come in the level of stress and anxiety, that's what you're vibrating at. But we want to take you down. We want to take you down out of that flight or fight state. We want to take you out of that anxiety, and we want to bring it down into a peaceful calmness, a softness, a relaxation. So that's really the idea of the therapy. We can take those frequencies, those vibrations, and we can actually change the state of the body within the mind and the emotions. We can shift all of that so you feel lighter and brighter and more peaceful after a session.
Wow. Wow. Now, are you guys originally from this area?
Yeah, so I'm from Struthers.
Okay.
My husband is originally from New Springfield, but he also lived in Boardman as well.
Got it. Okay. Oh my goodness. That's so crazy. So what I know that you can't like, obviously give names and stuff like that, but what are some of the, like you mentioned your husband having lost what, 60 pounds,
Yeah.
which is
Mhm.
wow. Wow. But what are some of the other, I don't know, stories that you've seen kind of big dramatic changes?
A lot of times we see relationship changes, and it's really not a bad thing. We tell people that it's not a bad thing to leave your spouse or your boyfriend, or another thing is we hold, we grasp, and there's a lot of information and education and lessons that we also offer with our sessions, like a message before you start or a message as you come out of your meditation. And sometimes relationship wise, people are only supposed to be in our life for a certain amount of time. We do know that leaving a spouse or leaving a significant other creates changes and ripples through your life, but you have to ask yourself, what are you putting yourself through to stay? What are you missing to stay? What are you sacrificing to stay? So that relationship was there for a certain time, but now it's time for both of you to move on. Also, job changes, people who are under extreme pressure. We find that about 90% of what people are dealing with, you can trace it back to stress. It
Yeah.
creates a depressed immune system. Your body becomes weaker and it can't fight off the things that are coming at it. So ultimately, it develops a sickness. So that way you listen. So that way you slow down. Like if you get, a stomach ache while you're at work constantly, your belly hurts. Something is telling you you should not be in this environment, or something needs to change. And if you don't listen to that, that's going to eventually become chronic. So the people who come to us for therapy, they get whatever you want to call guidance or clarity or intuition. They know the changes that they need to make. They already know, but
Okay.
sometimes they need the energy to help them build up the courage to take that next step. Sometimes they have to do a session so that way they feel stronger within themselves. We've had people who were in like the process of divorce, and they're like, I'm coming so that way I can handle my the court cases, so I could see that person in court and feel strong and stand their ground. We've had people with cancer diagnoses who come in to use the therapy while they're going through treatment, through chemo, radiation. We have people who come in to prep their energy prior to surgery or after surgery. We have physicians who come in to maintain their health and well-being while they are giving to other people. We have first responders. We have teachers, so educators. We also have counselors and psychologists. They're coming in to maintain their health because they're givers.
Wow.
They're giving energy, and what happens is our therapy, it fills their cup. It helps them to recharge. So that's really what we're doing, is we're allowing people to come in and just plug in. So they're plugging themselves back in so that way they can recharge to be of service when they go back into the world.
I think that that's such an important aspect that you hit on, is literally getting to give. You know what I'm saying? Like, such a flow. And if you don't receive through whatever, some people it's a massage, some people it's sound therapy, some people it's oils, like Teresa. She does. Now, has oils played a part in your?
So we use an aromatherapy spray during our group sessions. For my individual sessions, I place oils around the head, the face, like the wrist, the bottoms of the feet. So we do incorporate the essential oils into our sessions as well.
I figured you probably did. That's funny. Okay, so wow, this is really, really very interesting. Have you studied the effects of then, and this is on a side note, but have you studied like the effect? You know how some people say that when you study with classical music, it's different than when you study. Have you studied any of that type of thing, like something that people could do at home, like any kind of?
Yeah, so obviously music, whatever you resonate with, that is going to be therapeutic for you. For people who come to the center and they're looking for something to take home, we actually carry the crystal singing bowls in our retail shop. So to continue with certain frequencies, so what we find is that if someone is having an issue somewhere, and the easiest example is the heart space. So we work with a frequency that resonates with, so I'll go into your energy center. So again, that visible energy, we have energy centers that regulate the energy coming in the body and going out of the body. So we would recommend someone keeping that frequency in their life until they feel like they've passed through that, whatever they're working on, whatever shut their heart down, whatever closed them up. They want to continue working with that frequency to open that space back up. So that's really where we look at just the home care, when they can't come into the center. And then also there's lots of YouTube videos, people playing certain frequencies, certain instruments. But I mean, if someone wants to get a playlist and put all of their favorite songs on a playlist and just listen to that, if it's uplifting or just relaxing, that's going to be therapeutic itself.
Right. I could definitely see how. Yeah, it's so fascinating. Like, my mind is going so fast that just thinking about the value of sound, and how everything in nature is in harmony.
Right.
And everything in nature is just created that way, to be in harmony in an alignment. Even just, it's amazing. I heard a lady talk about the thoughts and what our thoughts look like, and that they're active and alive. And like what you said with the cells, it's just so fascinating to me. That's so amazing. So this is all so interesting. Okay, so let's move on a little bit. So you're from Struthers. Yes. And now, wait, before we move on from this, is there anything else that you would tell people? Like, I know that I've seen those YouTube videos about the power of words. Like, when you speak bad words, you can see the bread mold faster, or the rice or whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Have you seen any studies like that regarding sound? Like when they're playing these disconnect chords or whatever, as opposed to soothing sounds. Have you seen anything like that?
Right, not specific studies, but it is like you said with the thoughts. That thought is a vibration. So that vibration actually is going out, and it has energy. So there was a study on water with vibration, and I believe it was Dr. Emoto. And what he actually did was he sent out thoughts
Okay.
to certain like glasses of water or drops of water. And what he would do, he would take it to the microscopic aspect of it, and he would see how loving thoughts and energy, so vibration, your thoughts, the vibration going into the water, would create these beautiful snowflake like crystals. And then he would analyze the jar or the water that was sent hate and anger and jealousy, and it would be all like muddy and just really ugly looking. So he already proved that your thoughts have vibration, frequency, and they could be positive, beneficial, and healing, or they could be negative and just basically telling you that this is what the negative, lower vibratory thoughts do to even your cells, because we're about depending on what articles you read, about 70 to 80% water. So
Yeah.
if you think of that, if you think of what your thoughts are doing to that water, what's it doing to the water aspect of the body? And that's why vibration is so powerful for the body, for the mind, is because we are basically, we get to transmute those things. So if we are hard on ourselves, we're thinking we're ugly, we're not good enough, how will anybody, I'm not lovable, whatever, because we really beat ourselves up mentally. Sound can help you elevate your thoughts. Sound can help you elevate how you see yourself. It can help you think more positive. So once you get past those conditions, so the more you use it, the more the sound kind of just wipes away you even wanting to think bad about yourself. So what we're doing is we are transmuting those thoughts that we've given ourselves and taking
Perfect.
ourselves to a
Replace.
higher state. Yes, we're replacing negativity with that harmony, because sound is harmony and our natural state of being is harmony. But like we talked, the stress, the thoughts, the conditioning, the programming, the situations that we're in, that all impacts our harmony, and it really separates us from it. So when you go into a state where the intention is to just relax, and
Yeah.
that's all you have to do in one of our sessions is show up. We do everything else. You lay in a lounge, you listen, you feel, you experience, and then you leave. And you really take that experience with you. And it's really just a journey of seeing what had come to you in the session. How did it make you feel? What did it help you to let go of? What did you release? And how do you feel different?
That is so fascinating. And I could tell it's your passion. I could tell it's what you love, and that
Yeah.
just totally comes out of you. So that's amazing. I mean, because that's honestly like who you want. You don't want somebody working on you who's just doing it to make money and stuff.
Right.
You want somebody who really believes in what they do. And I can't believe this all started with juicing. I
Yes.
still can't believe that. I have recently gotten into celery juicing, which
Okay.
is just, the celery juicing in the morning. And when I was doing it like pretty regularly,
Mhm.
I saw such a difference, such a dramatic difference. So yeah, there's my little juicing story.
Right. And we can go on a whole other other way with that. And
Yeah.
we believe that the juicing was our first experience with vibration. As sound therapists now, we had no idea what was going to happen. How so when you juice, you are taking in micronutrients from the vegetables, and that micronutrient has life. So you are actually actually essentially drinking the life force energy of that vegetable, and that's what's feeding your cells. So as you take in that life energy, you are then increasing the vibration that's running through your body. And from that, Calvin and I, we have a plant-based diet. We're vegan. We don't eat any more animal products. But if you look at what you put into your body, you want it to have a life force. There's no judgment to anyone who eats meat, but that essence is already dead. It's deceased. So you are actually just feeding your body with calories. Yes, there's aspects of protein and whatnot, but you can get all of that through a plant-based diet. So it really woke us up to basically to that, like energy, again, vibration, what we were feeding the body. And then I think that was a segue into the sound therapy and then the energy healing and just vibrational work.
Right, right. So if you don't mind me asking, was the juicing, was it because of a physical sickness or just because of how you felt? Were you just, weighed down and blah, or what was that dramatic instance that just made you guys decide to go this direction?
Right. So, so my husband was a carpenter, and basically it's a very physical job. And I think at the time he was in his early 30s, and he was having knee issues. And the doctor was like, "I'm telling you, you're going to need a knee replacement at 40." And he's like, you need to either get prepared for that or find a new career. And being a little overweight, I think at the time it was just, okay, I need to get pressure off my knee. If this is what I'm going to do, if this is going to be the career for the rest of my life, I have to help myself somehow. So I think that was the initial intention for the juicing, to just get a little healthier, see if taking off a little bit of weight would help the pressure on his knee. But ultimately, all of this happened, after the fact. So that was the initial decision to do that.
Wow. You just couldn't have seen what would come out of that. Like, just
right.
Crazy. That's so cool. Okay. So let's go on to this area. So you grew up in this area. And so tell me, first let's start with what is one place, and I know that, the dates have changed so much, but when everything reopens, what is the one place you cannot wait to go? Whether go ahead.
Honestly, it's the orange avocado, and it's a juicery.
Yeah. Right.
So they have smoothies. The desserts and stuff that they have are raw. So everything is raw, fresh, organic. So that's basically where we get our snacks. So if we're not making juice here, we can run there and get a juice.
I didn't realize everything there was organic.
Yes. Yeah. So everything is organic and raw. So, they have little peanut butter cookies, and they have like avocado mousse. They have oat bowls, their smoothies. So if you want a healthy treat, that's where we go, is the orange avocado.
Okay. And that's right there on 224, right?
224. Yep.
Okay. What? Oh my goodness. I'll have to check that out. I've never been there, but that sounds so good. Yeah. And I didn't realize, the fact that it's all organic, that's super huge, because the pesticides, they soak up right into the fruits and stuff. Yeah.
And that's more, so we would recommend an organic diet as much as you can, just because the pesticides, if it's not always feasible for everyone, but really wash your fruits and vegetables. But if you can, because the pesticides are also something the body has to filter out. And if we're filtering out large amounts of contaminants, that too is going to affect the immune system and the state of your health. So if it is possible, follow an organic diet, or do, there's also what they call the dirty dozen. The dirty dozen will have the fruits and vegetables that are actually not recommended to eat conventional, because there's so many pesticides, like so kale, strawberries, that the pesticides just get into the meat of the vegetable vegetable and the fruit, and it's really recommended to do those things organic. But then there'll be another list of the ones that are safe, even though they use pesticides conventionally, things with hard rinds like cantaloupe and watermelon, and things that you can actually cut and, get the meat,
Yeah.
safely from inside. So people can check into the Dirty Dozen to see what's on those lists. It changes every year, but they do tests on those certain things to say this is okay, and these are really contaminated.
Interesting. Man, such a plethora of knowledge. That's
Yeah.
I just started growing my own kale, so that I'm good on
Okay.
the kale. That's good. That's good. Good to know. All right, and you know what? Okay, so we got the orange avocado. What's a couple more hidden spots that you feel like everybody should know about? I mean, obviously the Center for Sound Therapy. I didn't know it was there, so now I do. So what are some of the other must try places for the viewers of Youngstown Click?
Just to stay on point of what we're talking about, just a plant-based diet, healthier. Ailey's is a very small I wouldn't call it a restaurant, but it's all plant-based, so vegan, plant-based. It's over on Western Reserve.
Okay.
It is almost at the corner of Western Reserve and South Avenue, but it's in a little plaza next to the McDonald's.
Interesting. What is it called?
It's Ailey's, Elys.
Oh, I've
And
seen that.
that's the
Okay.
owner's name. But for someone who is looking to try certain substitutions, she's got a really good menu. Like she's open Monday through Friday. Well, obviously once things
Right.
start to open back up, but each day is a different menu, and you can try certain things. So it's a good place for someone to just see what's out there as far as plant-based and alternative substitutions for your meats and things like that.
Okay, awesome. Oh, I love that. All right, that's awesome. Guys, thank you so much for watching. And as always, if you have any questions, how can they reach out to you, Maria?
Yeah, my email is maria@centerforsoundtherapy.com. They can also find us on Instagram and Facebook, just looking up Center for Sound Therapy. And then our website is centerforsoundtherapy.com. So any avenue there, you'll be able to send a message or reach out, and I'd be happy to answer more questions.
That is so. I'm sure that people are going to have more questions. I was just listening to a doctor this morning, actually, and he was talking about how frustrated he had become that the mainstream medical field has so few cures, has so few desire for a cure. And he sat in a room where people were talking about how they had discovered this thing, and he was excited because he had discovered that same thing. And so he said, okay, so now if we can figure out what causes this, then we could figure out how to avoid dementia. And they didn't care. He said they literally did not care. They were just excited about how they could take this thing they discovered and make a medicine, make a pill. And so he was just talking about how like that started his journey into a whole new way of doing things. And so when people are going to the traditional doctors and there's no hope that could be offered, there's nothing that they can do. It's so good for them to know that there's alternative remedies out there that work with who you are, who you were created to be, how you're designed. And we're just discovering, okay, wow, these things actually affect us, our thoughts, our words, our sounds, it's
Mhm.
really fascinating.
And that's our hope and our intention. We already work with a integrative physician from Newcastle. Her
Okay.
name is Dr. Michelle Thompson, and she brings us into a lot of her workshops because she recommends not only the traditional medicine, because sometimes people need that medicine to start to shift the body in the right direction, but
Okay.
ultimately she works to get people off of their medication. So she
Wow.
encourages encourages healthy lifestyle, healthy eating, energy healing, managing your, your thoughts, your emotions, things like that. So she always incorporates us into those workshops and the community educational sessions. And that is our intention, is for traditional medicine and alternative medicine to hold hands, to really care for, like you said, who you are as a person, and then all of the aspects of our being, because we are not just physical. There are more aspects of ourselves that need attention, that need love, that need energy. So I just want to say that if you are a person and you're struggling and you're having issues, you're having manifestations and symptoms within the body, look at yourself on the energetic level, the emotional level, your mental level, and then the physical level. And then what you want to do is you want to really look at yourself. What have I been through in my life? What has hurt me? What am I holding on to? What can I find understanding and forgiveness? And then how do I love myself? So if you take care of yourself on all of those levels, that you should be able to find healing and peace come back into your life.
Oh, thank you so much, Teresa. I appreciate that, guys. I will definitely write out her email so that if you want to get in touch with her, you can. And as always, if you have any more questions, please reach out to her. And if it interests you, go see her. And are you open during all this, or when are you guys reopening?
We are reopening on May 12th.
May 12th.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Youngstown Click. As always, thank you for being part of what makes Youngstown Click. You are important. You're never alone. You are a great part. And I believe that the greatest asset of this entire area is this people. If the people are great, the area will be great. And we are great. And that is why I do this, so that we can connect the places and the faces, the people, and know that you are not alone. And so thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.